What happens when fame, weirdness, and chaos all come together? In 2025, the world's 10 most glamorous gay celebrities didn't just chase the spotlight. They weathered scandals, breakups, and bold transformations that kept us glued to the headlines. From red carpets to candid confessions, they turned pain into power and drama into gold. Buckle up. Here are the top 10 gay celebrities who made 2025 unforgettable. Luke Evans, the Hollywood rebel, lives life on his own terms. Luke Evans has always been confident on screen, in control, and unfazed. But 2025 has reminded us that the Welsh heartthrob is more than just an actor with a jawline created by the gods. He is a complex, openly gay man who has quietly changed the industry without ever asking for recognition. Raised in a conservative Welsh family, Luke did not come from the red carpet world. He fought his way into it. Before he became famous, he had to fight, facing judgment, rejection, and pressure to hide parts of himself in order to succeed. But he didn't stay hidden forever. When he arrived in Hollywood, he was already a storm brewing. What makes 2025 different is how he began to shed the layers, not loud or attention-seeking. It was genuine and relatable. That year, he opened up about growing up, his inner struggles, and the long road to coming to terms with his truth. People expected glitz and drama. Instead, Luke delivered the real thing, and fans couldn't help but love it. While other actors were chasing the buzz, Luke was busy with real work. He starred in 2 major films in 2025, each of which reminded us of his versatility. From intense action to tender, emotional roles that brought critics to tears. And behind the scenes, he mentored young gay actors, pushed for more inclusive casting, and steered clear of the rumor traps that have tripped so many up. But don't let his calm demeanor fool you. Luke Evans has had his share of tumultuous moments. He ended a long-term relationship which led to tabloids speculating about his love life. There were photos, close friends, and even a scathing social media post that fans have dissected as a map to his heart. But Luke, he didn't take the bait. Instead of responding to every whisper, he let the world in on the action as a man who didn't care about the noise. That's the Evans effect. Absolute calm with a touch of mystery that keeps the world guessing. He's never let his homosexuality define his career, but he's never hidden it to get ahead. In 2025, that balance feels like a power move. He's no longer fighting for a place. He's carving out his own, inviting the next generation to sit down with him. He proved that presence doesn't always have to be shouted to be heard. Sometimes it's whispered through every role, every red carpet step, every moment you choose to be true to yourself, even when it would be easier. Luke Evans made it through 2025 without a scandal, but with a story that resonates even more. And for gay people on the outside, seeing someone succeed without compromise is revolutionary. Skip 4 if you think Luke is the type to turn quiet confidence into queer power. But while Luke's revolution was quiet, the next star is making headlines by doing the opposite. Breaking fashion boundaries, bending gender norms on the runway, and proving that authenticity can be as bold as a wedding dress in Paris. Enter the bold world of Felix Nieder. In 2025, Felix Nieder didn't just walk the catwalk, he redefined what a catwalk is. The tall, lean German model entered 2025 with a breathtaking beauty, but it wasn't just his looks that made him unforgettable. Felix became a symbol of gay courage in an industry still clinging to rigid stereotypes and predictable gender roles, and his refusal to fit into any of them made him a star. Felix made his debut on the European catwalks, and quickly, with a string of contracts, became one of Germany's most sought-after male models. But 2025 was the year his presence exploded. It wasn't just about being photographed. It was about how he used fashion as a weapon, a statement, a rebellion. He strode down the runway in both tailored suits and flowing gowns, blurring the lines with a confidence that left audiences in awe. In an industry still dominated by rigid masculinity, Felix stood out boldly and proudly. A gay man who never compromised or traded authenticity for acceptance. Campaign after campaign, luxury brands wanted him. Magazines put him on the cover not just for his body, but for the conversations he carried with him. Felix understood that fashion is more than just fabric. It's culture, and culture changes when one person is brave enough to break the mold. From Berlin to Paris, from pride-themed photo shoots to haute couture shows, Felix was everywhere. Of course, his boldness was met with fierce opposition. Some critics have called his choices a gimmick. Others have questioned whether his gender-bending fashion stunts are too provocative. But Felix is undaunted. He has embraced it. In interviews, he has reminded fans that visibility is never about making people feel comfortable. "The world doesn't change when we play it safe," he once said. And in 2025, he did. Social media has only amplified his influence. Clips of him strutting down the runway in lace and leather have gone viral on TikTok. Fans have embraced him not just as a model, but as an icon. Felix didn't flaunt his gay identity for fame. He showed what freedom looks like when you stop asking for permission to exist. For LGBTQ+ youth across Europe and beyond, he became proof that beauty and courage can go hand in hand. By the end of that year, Felix Nieder was more than just a model. He was the epitome of what the modern queer community should be. Part fashion rebel, part culture disruptor, and completely unabashed. His body may have sold clothes, but his spirit sold something bigger. Hope, pride, and the belief that queerness should always be front and center, never hidden. So while Hollywood had Luke Evans redefining quiet strength, Germany gave us Felix Nieder redefining bold authenticity. Two sides of the same queer coin, both unstoppable. And now, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching? Comment your country and see how truly global Felix Nieder's courageous energy is. Zane Phillips didn't just rise in 2025, he exploded. Tall, broad-shouldered, and charismatic, Zane has a presence that makes people want to look up. But this year wasn't just about looks, it was about how he made Hollywood a place where he could challenge himself, while creating a space for gay men to be seen as romantic leads, action figures, and unapologetically loving. If his breakout moment in Fire Island gave audiences a taste of his star power, 2025 cemented it. This is the year Zane Phillips became unmissable. Netflix's Glamorous kept him in the spotlight, but it's his unabashed honesty that sets him apart. Zane isn't afraid to show his true self. He's always been true to himself, proud to be gay, using every interview and red carpet moment to remind the industry that being gay isn't a limitation, it's a lever. His Instagram is a series of ambitious images and fashion statements, but behind the flashy images, Zane has cultivated something deeper: representation. His presence means something special. For young LGBTQ+ fans watching from small towns, seeing someone like Zane dominate the screen was not only exciting, but revolutionary. He wasn't a sidekick. He wasn't boxed in or hidden, he was a star. And Hollywood took notice. Casting directors began eyeing him for roles that were typically reserved for straight people. It was no small feat in an industry still grappling with queer representation in blockbusters. But Zane was up for the challenge. He wanted to prove that a gay actor could lead a series, star in a romance, or steal a scene in a TV series without being pigeonholed into stereotypes. Of course, that presence brought its own storms. The tabloids dug in. Every friendship became a rumored romance. Every red carpet date was dissected for clues. Critics questioned whether his gym-honed physique overshadowed his talent. But Zane responded in the only way that mattered, through his work. His performance in 2025 was humane, compelling, and undeniable, reminding everyone that behind the six-pack was an actor with depth. Off-screen, Zane has used his platform intentionally. He has partnered with LGBTQ+ organizations, appeared at Pride events, and shared the pressures gay men face in Hollywood. The unwritten rules, the stereotypes, the endless demands to hide or express their gender identity. His honesty has touched the hearts of his fans. They see him as more than just an actor, but also as a voice. By the end of 2025, Zane Phillips will be more than just a handsome face on streaming platforms. He is a full-fledged gay icon, redefining what it means to be a leading man in modern Hollywood. He balances desire and thought, charm and courage, and he is stronger for it. If Luke Evans represents quiet power and Felix Nieder is the embodiment of bold rebellion, then Zane Phillips is a reminder that being gay in Hollywood isn't about fitting into a mold. It's about breaking it. And speaking of breaking the mold, our next star has not only survived scandal, but also made it big. And now it's the king of Flash, Chris Appleton. Chris Appleton, the king of glamour, faced the scandal of 2025 with style. If you like your dramas to be both heartbreaking and exciting, there's no better story than Chris Appleton's 2025. The celebrity hairstylist and groom has been making heads turn, not because of his impressive red carpet appearances, but because he's lived through his public dramas and kept them looking so intact. Chris is already a household name in the beauty world. His fingers have created Kim Kardashian's glossy look and J.Lo's sleek glamour. That's him. But this year, he stepped into the bigger spotlight. Early 2025, the internet was abuzz. Chris had quietly divorced and then reunited with actor Lucas Gage. Like a romantic comedy, they got engaged, married, and broke up again in a matter of weeks. Swipe right to see Fast and Furious, and everyone was living it up as emotions ran high. But while the tabloids tried to trumpet and fan accounts leaked receipts, Chris kept his cool. There was no public announcement, no Clint Eastwood-esque magazine stare-down. He and Lucas walked the line between divorce and drama like fashion models gliding through red velvet curtains, elegant, beautiful, and a little chilly. Yet despite the storm, Chris's brand remained undaunted. In fact, he leaned in. His Instagram feed, part high-fashion editorial, part sun-drenched gym selfie, began trending on TikTok. His post-crisis glower became the cultural moment of the year. People not only admired him, but also admired his grace. The silence that was arranged after the scandal transformed into an aura of unshakable confidence. Aside from the emotional scandal, Chris has also achieved success in his career. He has brought glam to LA Pride parades, worn elaborate buns for gay celebrities, and collaborated with cosmetics brands that are finally fully embracing the LGBTQ+ community. He has hosted talks on self-expression, released collections of clothed and nude portraits, and even attended drag charity galas, looking resplendent in high fashion and full of queerness. Honestly, his rise from the scandal has been about more than just overcoming emotional turmoil. It has been about rebuilding, reinventing, and becoming more iconic than ever. In a year filled with fleeting romances and fleeting regrets, Chris Appleton danced to a slower beat, calm, fierce, unrepentant. It was impossible to ignore the tragedies, but he turned them into power, into aesthetics, into the quiet grace of I am who I am that only the most confident of people can pull off. And that's truly amazing. So who's emerged from their own 2025 scandals and become even more influential in the LGBTQ+ beauty space? It's the kind of transformation that brings both judgment and joy. And Chris Appleton did it in cinematic fashion. Give one a pass if Chris turns a scandal into a style statement. And while Chris has proven that chaos can be high fashion, our next star's journey isn't about glamour. It's about survival, reinvention, and the fight to reclaim your own story. Come to Spain and talk about Omar Ayuso. Omar Ayuso, Spain's gay icon, confronts his demons in 2025. If you thought Omar Ayuso's story was over when Elite wrapped up its final season, think again. 2025 hasn't been a quiet year for the Spanish heartthrob, and while the headlines may have faded, Omar's personal journey has reached new heights. You may have first seen him as Omar Shana, a gay Muslim student navigating love, religion, and rebellion in Netflix's Elite. It was a role that flipped the script for gay characters on international television, and it brought Omar's intense gaze and raw acting into the global spotlight. But such a rapid rise to fame has had its toll. And this year, Omar finally opened up about the dark stuff behind the scenes. In an emotional interview earlier this year, Omar revealed that he hit rock bottom soon after his rise to fame. The pressure to meet fan expectations, stay politically correct, and present a different version of himself on the internet became too much. "I lost myself completely," he admitted. "I don't know who I am without the camera." That raw honesty lifted the veil on the reality of instant fame. It can give you everything, but it can also take you away. But that's where 2025 took a different turn. Instead of disappearing, Omar chose to come back stronger. This year, he joined the cast of Marilandra, a new Spanish film that explores intergenerational homosexuality. It's not a teen drama or a topless photo shoot. It's a role that allows him to dig deeper, challenge norms, and redefine what gay masculinity looks like on screen. And that's exactly what Omar wants to do. He's also set to debut in a stage play with Tony Acosta, proving that he's not afraid to trade the spotlight for raw spotlight. It's a bold move, but very Omarian. He's always been about substance over form, even as the world insists he's an icon first and an artist second. And while his Instagram is still a thirst trap, his captions have changed. Less polished, more authentic. You can tell he's no longer playing to the algorithm. Instead, he's reclaiming his story, post by post, roll by roll, brave sentence by sentence. In a media culture obsessed with over-the-top exposure, Omar Ayuso is mastering the rare art of quiet reinvention. He's reminding fans that being queer, brown, and vulnerable on the global stage isn't just about visibility. It's about resistance. So while others chase TikTok fame and instant clout, Omar is taking his time, choosing his moments, and staying true to himself. That's why he's not just trending, he's enduring. Skip ahead too, if you believe Omar's transformation isn't just about his looks. It's personal, powerful, and completely deserved. And while Omar found strength in slowing down, our next star has embraced the spotlight head-on, stepping out of the shadows and becoming a true gay icon. Let's talk about another breakout Spanish actor, Manu Ríos. Manu Ríos, from elite teen idol to gay trailblazer. When Elite first debuted, fans couldn't help but marvel at Manu Ríos. He was as naturally handsome, stylish, and sophisticated as a pre-Raphaelite dream. But 2025 was more than just a look for him. It was the year Manu transformed from dreamy background image to full-fledged gay icon, and along the way, created a storm of glamour. After his breakout role in Elite, Manu filled fan pages around the world with photoshopped images, artful photo shoots, and avant-garde fashion. But for much of his career, his identity was largely hidden. Many assumed he was gay without much public confirmation. That ambiguity caused fan obsession and a lot of pressure. So when Manu finally spoke out, it wasn't soft or shy. It was a change. He shared that while his gay identity had never been a secret to the community, sharing it publicly made him feel self-conscious. In 2025, amid mounting pressure and online rumors, he posted a simple caption, "I'm gay, always have been. It's nice to finally say it." It wasn't hyperbole. It wasn't hyperbole. It was just him, brave, honest, shining in the spotlight. The moment made waves. Headlines declared it a milestone for Generation Z representation in Spain. But for Manu, it was just the beginning. From then on, he was completely confident in his new voice. He has walked the runway for high-end fashion, kissed male dancers during halftime shows, and spoken candidly in interviews about body dysmorphia, gender identity, and queer pain. When asked why he chose this moment, he didn't shy away. "Because silence, while safe, isn't who I am anymore," he said. His fans, longtime fans and new allies alike, celebrated the revelation. But as usual, controversy erupted. Some criticized him for coming out amid the pressure. Others questioned whether his coming out on Instagram was too ostentatious, too staged. Manu graciously responded, "I love that people want to know more, but I'm not being real anymore. This is it." The humility and defiance in that statement only drew people in. Then came the creative explosion. He released an artful music video, sexy, dark, unmissable. He starred in a critically acclaimed short film about queerness and immigration. He collaborated with queer artists across Europe. He was no longer just a face. He was an artist, refusing to let his identity become a platform. By the end of 2025, Manu Ríos was no longer just a beloved actor. He was a moment, a living reminder that queer youth can exist openly, boldly, and without apology. His journey from simmering speculation to powerful statement was not only deeply personal, but also profoundly revolutionary. Give it 3 stars if Manu's rise from soft-coded idol to queer legend inspires you. Which star has left the deepest impression on you so far? Who do you find the most successful, inspiring? And if you want to continue following the stories of queer icons making waves around the world, be sure to subscribe and support the channel, because the next chapter of this list just keeps getting more exciting. Kit Connor's 2025 wasn't just a year, it was a revelation. For years, fans knew him as Nick Nelson, the charming football player who romanced Charlie on Netflix's Heartstopper, one of the most authentic depictions of gay love on television. But behind the applause and viral clips, Kit carried the weight of expectation, speculation, and the relentless attention that came with becoming an overnight Gen Z icon. The pressure came to a head in 2022, when Kit felt compelled to come out as bisexual after months of online harassment and accusations of queer baiting. It was a moment that showed just how cruel fandom could be, and it hurt. But in 2025, Kit didn't just survive, he turned it into his strength. This was the year he stopped being a rising star and became a force in his own right. On screen, Kit continued to captivate. He balanced his role in the final chapters of Heartstopper with bold new projects that broke away from the teen romance stereotype. One of his most talked about performances came in a gritty indie film that forced audiences to see him as more than just a sweet guy, but a serious, thoughtful, risk-taking actor. Critics praised his ability to shed his boy-next-door persona and embrace complexity. But Kit's story in 2025 is not only professional, but personal. For the first time, he began to openly discuss the toll fame has taken on his mental health. In interviews, he admits to feeling lonely as millions of eyes scrutinize his every move, question his identity, and demand authenticity on their own terms. Instead of letting that scrutiny define him, Kit reframes it. He speaks candidly about boundaries, privacy, and the right of gay people to come out on their own timetable. His honesty has earned him not only sympathy, but respect. Social media, once a battleground, has become a platform for him to control. Kit posts less, but more intentionally. Behind-the-scenes shots from film sets, moments with co-stars, and glimpses of his training reveal a young man embracing adulthood with quiet confidence. Fans who once pressured him have banded together, recognizing the power of coming out in the public eye as a gay man. And let's not overlook the obvious. Kit Connor in 2025 looks every inch the leading man. His broad shoulders, sharp jawline, and natural charisma have turned red carpets into viral events. But unlike so many other young stars, Kit refuses to let his looks dictate the narrative. He wants substance, and he delivers. At the end of the year, Kit Connor isn't just another teen idol graduating to adult roles. He's a queer artist defining success on his own terms, unapologetic, intentional, and inspiring. His journey shows that being bisexual in Hollywood doesn't mean being pigeonholed or erased. It's rewriting the script. From the football pitch of Heartstopper to the bright lights of global stardom, Kit Connor's 2025 album proves that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand your ground, speak your truth, and keep moving forward. And while his transformation has fans cheering, the next name on our list reminds us that resilience can be just as powerful when it's born from rejection. Get ready for Jeremy Pope. Jeremy Pope, from studio snub to healing hero. Imagine being told you're not trustworthy just because you're gay. That's exactly what Jeremy Pope faced in early 2025 when a studio executive questioned his ability to connect with female co-stars because of his sexuality. Instead of cowering, he walked away. And in doing so, he sparked a shift that would shape the rest of the year. Jeremy has always spoken from the heart, not the ego. He first won over audiences on Pose and Broadway, earning Tony and Emmy nominations before most people knew how to pronounce his name. But 2025 is different. It's not about glitz and glamour. It's about facing rejection and rising above it. When he walked away from his studio film, many would have considered it career-destroying. But Jeremy redefined it. Soon after, A24 cast him in The Inspection, an emotional indie about a gay black man who joins the Marines during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The role, both emotional and brutal, became his rebirth. He carried his scars on screen as a man pushed to his limits only to discover self-love in the ashes. Audiences didn't just see a performance, they felt a story of healing. Critics nodded in approval. Award ceremonies listened. That year, Jeremy was nominated for a Golden Globe, not just for his performance, but for his authenticity. But the rise didn't stop there. Off-screen, he began to reveal more of himself. He shared honest stories about growing up gay and black in harsh environments where masculinity was often performed rather than felt. He saw his roles as emotional redemption arcs, a way to reclaim a voice and identity that the industry had tried so hard to hide. But fame came with vulnerability. Fans overanalyzed every red carpet pose. Edits were relentless, and whispers followed him like ghosts. Some labeled him too gay. Others questioned whether he had grown up too fast. But Jeremy embraced it, showing grace rather than excuses. He used interviews not to prove his worth, but to share his journey of finding it. That year, he also took a risk. He's released new music, supported social justice causes, and created LGBT-centric work that's made his voice resonate. He's not chasing fame, he's chasing truth. In every choice he makes, he delivers the same message: art first, brand second. So why is 2025 such a transformative year for Jeremy Pope? He's faced career hurdles. He's dared to use pain as motivation. He's turned rejection into roles that have healed millions. And through it all, he's embraced his LGBT identity, not as an accessory, but as a strength. Jeremy hasn't just recovered, he's risen on his own terms. Skip ahead to the year if you think Jeremy's wounded and triumphant return deserves all the headlines. And now, we want to hear from you. Which country are you watching from? Leave a comment below, and our team will get back to you as soon as possible. Taylor Zakhar. Perez may not have publicly labeled his sexuality, but in 2025 his name was everywhere in conversations about queer storytelling. The Chicago-born actor, already admired for his breakout in The Kissing Booth 2, had the world in his grip thanks to Red, White, and Royal Blue, Amazon Prime's romantic juggernaut about a US president's son falling in love with a British prince. And while co-star Nicholas Galitzine and the story itself carried the crown of representation, Taylor's performance as Alex Claremont Diaz made him an instant queer icon, whether he asked for the title or not. Fans didn't just watch Red, White, and Royal Blue, they lived it. Taylor's portrayal of Alex was electric, funny, passionate, politically sharp, and hopelessly romantic. His chemistry with Nicholas burned so brightly that social media spun it into endless edits, fanfics, and conspiracy theories about their off-screen connection. Every red carpet appearance, every interview side glance became fuel for speculation. And while Taylor never publicly confirmed anything about his own sexuality, his willingness to embody a queer character with full sincerity made him beloved across the LGBTQ+ community. 2025 turned that admiration into full-blown stardom. Beyond the film, Taylor became one of Hollywood's most talked-about young actors. He landed magazine covers that celebrated him as a modern leading man, tall, sculpted, and effortlessly charismatic. His Instagram, filled with travel shots, shirtless workouts, and behind-the-scenes candids, only fueled his rise. But what separated Taylor from so many other pretty faces was how he carried himself in the whirlwind. He never mocked the queer speculation, never dismissed the role that made him a star, and instead leaned into gratitude for the fans who lifted him. Of course, the speculation never stopped. Was he queer? Was he straight? Did it matter? To many fans, Taylor Zakhar Perez represented a rare kind of Hollywood presence. Someone who didn't box himself in, who played queer roles with heart, and who respected the importance of the stories he was telling, even if he didn't claim them as his own. That subtlety made his place in queer pop culture complicated, but also fascinating. Outside of the screen, Taylor used his platform for advocacy in quieter but meaningful ways. He spoke about diversity in casting, the pressures on young actors, and the importance of telling love stories that don't always look like the Hollywood norm. He appeared at film festivals, walked high-profile carpets in tailored perfection, and continued to spark the kind of buzz studios dream of. By the end of 2025, Taylor Zakhar Perez remained an enigma. Not openly gay, not publicly labeled, but firmly embedded in queer cultural conversations. For some, that ambiguity was frustrating. For others, it was proof that the power of representation doesn't always rest on the labels an actor wears, but on the sincerity they bring to the screen. Taylor's year reminded us that visibility takes many forms. Whether he ever speaks about his personal identity or not, his work in Red, White, and Royal Blue became part of queer cinematic history. And in 2025, that was more than enough to keep him in the spotlight. And maybe that's the perfect way to close this list. 10 different stars, 10 different stories, all reminding us that queerness is not one path, but many. And each one has the power to change the world. And that's it. 10 queer celebrities who aren't just making waves in 2025, they're owning them. Whether they're breaking hearts, breaking barriers, or simply rocking the internet, these celebrities have reminded us that being queer isn't a limitation, it's a powerful move. From emotional red carpet moments to jaw-dropping career moves, their journeys prove one thing. Sometimes being bold, daring, and chaotic is exactly what the world needs. So which name shocked you the most? Which comeback inspired you the most? Leave your answer in the comments, and don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. Oh, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button or don't. But if you don't, you might miss the next scandal, the next beauty, or the next star about to break the algorithm. It's up to you. See you soon, stay strong, stay proud, and keep watching from the City of Lights.